Welcome to another episode of Pacific Matters. I'm Tomas Manglona. Glad you can join us. First up on our show, we get to sit down with a son of Guam who is making waves both in the digital and celebrity world. Mike Cruz was recently featured in Forbes for a company he co-founded, Protege. Here's more. I guess we can just go ahead and start off with an introduction of yourself, your background, and your ties to Guam.
Yeah, so I grew up on Guam. I've moved to the States when I was 18, but I went to FD and went to college in Chicago. I always tell people the first time I saw snow was when I was 18 back in college. So my ties and my whole family's still there. My sister moved to Texas, but ultimately like, the rest of my family's still there. And I'm local, right? So I moved to the States. I've been here for as long as I've been on Guam, so about 20 years in each place. But I still call Guam my home. And ever since I moved to the States, I sort of built my way into technology. So I worked for a decade at the Discovery Channel right out of college. I went to a startup called Trunk Club, which is this men's fashion startup, helped sell that to Nordstrom. I was in a health tech company that we sold to SC Johnson. And now I started a new company, Protege, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. But it's been this long path in technology to build up all these things, trying to figure out what's next in tech. It was ed tech and e-commerce and then health tech, and now focusing on consumer social.
All right, before we delve into Protege and the Forbes feature that you were in, can you tell us why you are in this work? What motivated you to enter this specific industry?
Yeah, so if the industry is kind of two industries, technology, which is computers and programming computers. I did it from when I was younger. I always thought it was an interesting thing. I actually didn't go to college for computer programming. I went to college for industrial engineering, which is just like more process manufacturing. But I just loved getting a computer to do what I wanted it to do, right? You could type something and it would just do something, and that immediate gratification was really cool. And I've been doing this for so long that I've seen it evolve from, the dial-up internet to everyone has a computer, the power of like a server room in your pocket, to social media. And to see those trends evolve has kept me in the industry forever. um, Entrepreneurship, and this is one of the things I've been doing, is I've been starting and selling companies, and now starting this company has been inspired by my dad. So my dad, he's on Guam, and he started a company, and I've always wanted to try to follow in his footsteps, kind of be in charge of my own destiny. Out of college, I worked for a company and I built it up, and I always wanted to figure out how I would do if it was my decision. Everything was my decision, and here we are today. So we'll see how I do on Protege.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Protege and specifically the huge feature that Forbes did on you. Just wanted to read the headline. It says Protege One Ups Masterclass with Celebrity Mentorship. So first, can you tell us the idea and what Protege is?
Yeah. So the big idea with Protege, and sort of the reason we started the company, was we wanted to help anyone out there be heard and get discovered. So oftentimes there's this difficulty in accessing the gatekeepers in the world. So a lot of industries have gatekeepers on their way to someone's success, whether it's a person you have to know or you have to have a relationship with somebody. And there's oftentimes a very ambiguous path to success in a lot of industries, from entertainment to business to art, right? You kind of know, I know where I am today, I know where I want to get to, but I don't know how to get there. What are the steps? And if you could ask somebody, it would make it easier. But even better, if you could get access to somebody, spend 60 seconds to show them your talent and prove that you know what you're doing. Imagine how that could change your life. Imagine if you can get noticed, get considered for opportunity. So we started Protege because I ran into this problem. So I was in enterprise. I worked at the Discovery Channel for a decade, and I wanted to get into startups. My dad was an entrepreneur. I wanted to get into startups. And so I tried to find jobs. I applied, didn't get any callbacks. I was like, well, what's wrong? What skill am I missing to get into startups? Like, what do I need to learn? And so I couldn't figure it out. Ended up, this is in 2010, 2011. I ended up applying, agreeing, well, okay, look, I don't know how, I don't know why I'm struggling. I'm just going to take a step back and apply it to an entry level position. And so I found a job posting on Craigslist for this startup called Trunk Club, and I applied. And, I had spent 10 years in technology, but I figured, well, if I can get in, I can prove myself and then figure it out from there. And I did. I got in, I got the job. I ended up running the team, helping sell the company, and it was successful after that. And I realized the problem wasn't I wasn't missing a skill that was stopping me from getting access to the best jobs. I was just missing access. I just couldn't get to the CEO of that company to prove myself. I couldn't get that 60 seconds to show my talent. And so we created Protege to solve that problem. Was there are some amazingly talented people everywhere in the world, on Guam, in across the US, and they live in places where they don't have the chance to have ubiquitous like encounters in an elevator in New York or on a street in LA. And you hear these stories of people that get discovered. It's because they were in the right place. What if that place is everywhere? What if it's digital? And that's what we built with Protege. Is now I can access and get in front of the most famous and experienced people in the world, get 60 seconds to prove myself, and if they and get feedback on my skill, on my craft, and if things go well, I can get noticed and I can get that opportunity.
Welcome back to the show. In continuing our conversation with Mike about his digital company with some of the biggest celebrities in the game, we ask him, how is this different from other social media platforms? What differentiates Protege from, let's say, going viral on TikTok,
Yeah.
or having a really, uh, shared viral post on Facebook or other social media platforms? What is the, different factor that Protege offers that the other social media
Yeah,
platforms don't?
it's a good question. So I think social media has made a lot of promises that haven't come true. It started out as this platform where I can connect with anybody, right? Facebook is connect the world. And you can connect to and DM celebrities, but they may not ever respond and they may not ever even hear you. So this promise of accessing everyone is actually a lie. It doesn't actually happen. The second piece is you can go viral on TikTok. You can get a ton of followers, but the gap between having a bunch of people that are watching you to having a bunch of people that are supporting you and to having you be noticed is a very wide one still. So we have a lot of people on Protege that have been on American Idol, that have been on America's Got Talent, that have millions of followers, and they still can't get a record contract because they're being watched by a lot of people, but they're not being noticed by the few people that actually matter. And so what we realized is that social media gives you this platform to talk, to show yourself, but it doesn't necessarily lead to real opportunity. And the last thing is something we've noticed is that the skills it takes to be successful and going viral on TikTok aren't necessarily the skills necessary to be successful in the craft itself, right? Oftentimes you said it's about being a better marketer than it's about being good at the actual skill, the craft itself. And so we wanted to create a place where you don't have to be a good marketer. You don't have to show your other side. You are good at singing, sing. Do the best at singing. And you don't have to also air your dirty laundry or, put everything out on social media so you can be this marketing success. Instead, just show your talent, get discovered, get in front of the right people so you can really get discovered and noticed.
And can you let us know a little bit about kind of the inner workings of Protege? How many, what is the current scale of it? How many people are using it? And I guess if it's a fair question, are there any names that I guess folks might recognize if
Yeah.
type of
So
thing?
we're live. We launched the company about 11 months ago. And we've been running in beta for that time. So we finally came out, and this is to your point about the Forbes article. We raised from one of the best venture capital firms in the world, Sequoia, and they're supporting us to help kind of power the creator economy. And in that time, we managed to get 30,000 users, about 3,000 students have submitted and gotten feedback on their talent. And we have people, everyone from DJ Khaled to BB Rexa to Florida Georgia Line to Tyga to Scooter Braun. So if you want, so basically we've gone after the best talent in the world because we realized that there are a lot of talented people, but the best of the best is still impossible to access. So we wanted to start with those people. So you can send your beats to DJ Khaled. He will listen to them. He'll give you feedback, and it's all possible on Protege. And no one is out of reach, right? So that's the idea. So we launched with the big names in music. What we want to go next is we want to go into dance, we want to go into art, we want to go into business, and anywhere ultimately where there's this, where there are gatekeepers, where success is defined by it's subjective, based on who's the gatekeeper for the thing you want to obtain.
So it's
Anywhere
almost
that
like they're giving
exists.
everyone their chance to finally give the elevator pitch that they've been practicing, right? Is that a fair way to
Yeah,
characterize it?
exactly. If you could get 60 seconds in front of anybody to tell them why you matter or why the thing that you know is great, what would you do and who would you talk to? Right. That's a platform we want to be, um, because we do believe everyone has something powerful to say and everyone can take control of their destiny if they just had a shot.
All right. And so let's say if I were a singer, I'm not, but I'm on Guam, I'm listening to
Just
this
try.
interview.
Don't give up.
Who knows, maybe I'll send a beat over to DJ
There
Khaled.
you go.
So what do I need to do if I'm watching this interview? I'm a singer, I've been waiting for my big shot and I want to get that 60 seconds. What are the steps I have
Yeah.
to take right now?
Yeah, so it's simple. Go to protege.com. There are people that you can find on the homepage that are available, and there's also wizards. You can take if you don't see the person you're looking for, whether it's a genre of music or a category of art versus music or dance. There's a wizard on the bottom. You can fill out a form, and then we can get in touch with you around the talent that we think best fits what you're trying to achieve in your career. What I'd say is, so right now we're still early. We're still growing and using this funding that the Forbes piece basically mentions that we raised money from Sequoia, from Lionel Richie, from Will Smith, and a couple of big celebrities that are really supporting us. But that's just so that now we can grow. So now that we're at beta, we can be public about it. I would say that for the people that are ready to take that leap or ready to make that next step, if you were just about to go on American Idol, check out Protege. If you want feedback on your craft from some of the best producers in the world, beat makers, producers, uh, submit that beat to Protege and you'll get feedback and they'll give you that next step. So I'd say just go to protege.com and see what's on there.
All right, and just my last question, opening it
Yeah.
up for you to add whatever you'd like, but also right before we went live, we were talking about how much you want to also expand this access for home. So can you speak to a little bit
Yeah.
about your passions to do that, to connect, your goals with, people who might have dreams here at home as well, and anything else?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, so I grew up on Guam. It's my home. It's still my home. And when I came to the States, I moved to the Midwest and trying to find people from Guam in the Midwest was hard. And uh, I had no network when I first came, right? So I had no way to access. And there's tons of people there were a lot of people with these networks and they could, get a job or get considered because they had family or friends that knew so and so, someone or someone else. And I didn't have that. And I had to grind and get through and, get rejected and all these other things to get to where I am. And I want to get back to people. I want to be the person I needed 10 years ago when I was trying to figure out who do I talk to? How do I get help? How do I get noticed? And I do want to support, the people. There are some brilliant people from Guam. There's some brilliant people from the islands. Like I want to support those people and give them as much of a shot because I wish I had it. And I think that more of us or more people that left the island that have these positions where we can give back, we should do that because there's a lot of potential on the island. We just have to keep identifying people, propping them up, helping them out. So I would love it. So personally, I'm trying to, I want to continue to mentor people and kind of build them up. I'm in this tech lane and if there are any tech people that are interested, like I'd love to talk to them and just sort of help them save a couple steps. I learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, help them not have to make those mistakes, right? To kind of speed through their career, get a little further along. So that's been my thing is how do I find more ways to give back to my community, to the island, to the people, so that I can help set them up for success. And ultimately what I'd say is there's a glass ceiling, but it's up to us to help break it. And I want to be one of the people that helps do that.
All right, Mike, thank you for your time and congratulations on all of your success so far. I appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
And in our next segment, we sit down with COVID-19 frontliners on Saipan who are taking education to the streets with the goal of increasing accessibility to healthcare.
My name is Antonio Yarobama, and I work under maternal, infant, child adolescent health, also known as MICA, under population health services. And on this effort that we do every Saturday, house to house outreach, I am one of the patients educator.
And my name is Lavani Shiro. I also work under the MICA programs, and I'm also a patient educator for house-to-house outreaches on Saturdays and holidays.
My name is Eman Perian. I'm the COVID-19 vaccine program coordinator. My role in the house-to-house outreaches is to coordinate and support vaccine transport and operations.
And when did this outreach start? Do you remember?
I believe it started in January.
How have things been? What has do you know how many houses, or at least how many houses any of you personally visited?
In a day, we can visit about. I would say maybe in on one Saturday we would visit maybe 100 or more.
Yeah, over 100 households.
More houses, and individuals that we interact with, we can have about 400 to 500 people. You know, this is from each households that we counted every time we go to every house.
Yeah, so we have 5 teams every Saturday.
Yeah.
Those teams comprise of a vaccinator, a health educator, a data clerk to note about the patient's information, their temperature, what vaccine they're getting, and also a driver to help ensure that when we go house to house, the supplies go along with them when we walk to the houses in the community.
And I guess for each of you, what has been some of the most common questions, fears, and concerns that you've heard in the hundreds of houses you've been to?
I think most of it for me would have to be if anyone under 5 could get the COVID-19 vaccine. And right now we're still in the talks about it. There's been some articles, so yeah, we're just still kind of reviewing and stuff. So we do have a lot of parents who are actually very concerned for their children under 5 to receive the vaccine, because usually in each household there's at least a child under 5.
And so they're asking because they want their child to get
they
vaccinated?
they want their child to get vaccinated.
And we still have some adults that they might have the primary vaccine, the first and second, but they still kind of hesitant to take the booster, and they will have the question like, why do we need to have the booster again? So we have to kind of educate them of why they need the booster. We still have, I would maybe say, there's 3 categories that I'm gonna put. We have a house that is not vaccinated, a house that is not vaccinated, a house that is partially vaccinated, and a house that is fully vaccinated. So these two, the unvaccinated house, they will have some reservation or hesitancy to get the full vaccine, because they still have a lot of questions about the vaccine. So we respect, we don't really try to, we encourage them, but it's their decision that they make, and we respect that. But hopefully they will make the right decision to come forward and get their vaccine.
I mean, what have you heard in your visits?
I think about the mixing and matching of boosters. The CDC and the FDA authorized mix and match of your primary series and your booster. Some are so hesitant to they ask questions about, is it okay to mix my booster from my primary series, or do I have to follow the same series as my original?
Welcome back. In our continued interview with those COVID-19 frontliners on Saipan, we asked them about vaccine hesitancy in the community and how they're helping those without transportation get vaccination. You've given them the information, then they've changed their mind to get vaccinated. Have you come across that or no?
And not a lot. I would say what I try my best for. It's not more. It's just one person that I convinced, and then the person finally came forward and took the vaccine. But most of the people that we encounter are the one that they just say out straight out that they don't want to take the vaccine, and we just leave it at that. Respect their decision. And like I said, hopefully they will make up their mind and said, okay, this is important that we go and get our vaccine.
And then, sorry, I don't recall if you mentioned testing. Is testing a part of this outreach too, or is that separate?
Yeah, no, it's not. But we have the information that when they don't, if they're not going to be they said they're not going to be vaccinated, they don't want to get the vaccine, or they don't want to get the booster. And we have the information on hand to give them that if they experience any symptoms and they want to get tested, they have that information where they're going to call and inquire more about it and go and get tested themselves.
Personally, I would like to help people because I think just recently, last Saturday, we came across a house that was actually wanting to get her booster, but she didn't have a ride to go to NPC. So I think like what we do is like really great for these people, because the people who don't have the opportunity to receive these kind of stuffs, it's nice to know that we're helping them.
We're expanding access. Instead of people coming to us, we'll start going to them. Each week we schedule a village to where we try to see if we can open access for booster doses, and we'll try to get as much as the eligible population to get their boosters if they're wanting to.
So I joined the effort to do the outreach. I just love to go out in the community. I want to reach out to the community, and this is one of the opportunity to reach out to the community. And like you said, we have to bring out this the vaccine to them. A lot of them don't have that means of going to the vaccination site. We also direct these people, the family, if they need ride, and we're going to try and find ways to bring them. If they don't want to get it on the spot, we can help them to come to the site. But I like the idea that we bring it out to them for those that are, as for now, we're experiencing a lot of cases of positive cases, and that's what these people are afraid to come forward, because they don't want to go down and line up there where there's people are congregated, and they don't want to be in that crowd, so they kind of hold it back. We've experienced some people that they got their vaccine like last year, and early last year they still haven't gotten their booster, and that's one of the reasons, because they don't want to go down and stand in line where there are a lot of people around. They just want to stay at home.
And I know you're not officially an interpreter on the team, but you said you speak Carolinian and Chuukese, right?
I do speak Carolinian. I am fluent in Carolinian. I can speak to them. The one that I've been encountering, they do speak English, but yes, I have that. We can converse in Carolinian, no problem. I know a little bit of Chuukese, so I can be mixing the Chuukese and Carolinian because they're similar. So I get that advantage of communicating with the people that we encounter when we go out. And we're going to try to cover the bigger places. And we went to Cobra because that's a big area in Cobreville. So last weekend we did San Antonio, Not really finished San Antonio, but the other area that we want to hit is Cagman, because it's big, a big area. So the last thing that I want to tell the people is, come out and get your vaccine. We all vaccinated. We fully vaccinated. We got our first, second, and we all got our booster. We're still sitting here, and we, I can say I got tested positive for COVID, and I got fully vaccinated. I experienced the symptoms, but very mild symptoms that I experienced, and I guess it's because I'm fully covered with the vaccine. If not because of the vaccine, I probably be very sick.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pacific Matters. I'm Tomas Manglona, and we look forward to seeing you right here next week.